A man does not lose a woman's respect due to a lack of money or not having the perfect body. He loses it when his mentality breaks, when his attitudes reveal need, fear, and weakness. And here is the truth that many avoid. Women do not run away from a man for what he has, but for what he projects with every gesture, every word, and every reaction. Needing approval, fearing rejection, seeking constant validation, giving unnecessary explanations, putting the woman on a pedestal, avoiding conflict and trying too hard to please. These are the 7 attitudes that destroy respect and attraction. They dress up as love, but in reality, they are chains of insecurity. And a woman cannot admire a man who chains himself. The strength that awakens true attraction is not in what you show outwardly, but in what you master within. A man who knows how to stand firm, who speaks clearly without justifying himself, who calmly faces conflict and who lives with purpose does not need to beg for anything because his mere presence conveys conviction. Stoicism teaches that true power begins in the mind. If you master your thoughts, you master your life. If you control your emotions, you regain your respect. That is the path to stop appearing weak and start inspiring admiration. Stay, because in this video, we are going to strip down those attitudes that make a man lose his strength in front of a woman and, even more importantly, we will see how to eliminate them with Stoic practices that you can apply from today to regain your respect, your attraction, and your leadership. 1. Validate yourself from within. A man who seeks validation from the outside is like a lost traveler who extends his hand hoping someone will give him a map. He walks, asks, begs, but never finds the direction because he does not understand that the true path is not dictated by the outside, but by the internal compass. This need for approval is a crack that gradually turns into ruin, because every time you give your worth to the eyes of another person, you become a slave to their judgment. And no man can lead or inspire respect if he depends on the gaze of others to feel complete. The truth is uncomfortable. As long as you seek a woman to confirm that you are enough, you will never be. Not because she says so, but because your attitude screams it. The desire to please at all costs, to be accepted, to receive constant praise, ends up revealing insecurity, and insecurity is perceived with brutal clarity. She notices it in your tone, in your reaction, in how you change your words to please. And what you achieve is not respect, but pity disguised as patience, until one day attraction dies in silence. Stoicism teaches that your worth must come from what you can control, your discipline, your character, your thinking. Marcus Aurelius summed it up clearly. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If your mind is focused on conviction, you do not need anyone's pat on the back. Validation becomes a luxury, not a necessity. How to avoid falling into the trap of seeking approval? First, start recognizing your achievements in private. You do not need external applause to celebrate what you have achieved. Write it in a journal. Give yourself credit without arrogance. Acknowledge what you did well and also what you can improve. This practice strengthens the mind because you learn to be your own judge. Second, practice silence when you feel the urge to boast or justify yourself. If you can master that impulse, you will notice how anxiety decreases and your presence gains weight. A man who does not need to speak to be heard demonstrates confidence. Third, set small goals and fulfill them with discipline. Self-respect is not built with speeches, but with repeated actions that confirm who you are. When you maintain a habit, even if no one sees it, your mind understands that it can trust you. And that inner confidence is reflected outside. It is felt, it is transmitted, it is imposed. Finally, surround yourself with environments that do not feed your need for approval. If you spend time with people who only seek likes, applause, or the empty validation of social networks, you will end up falling into the same pattern. Choose contexts where action is valued, not appearance, where consistency is rewarded, not flattery. A man who validates himself from within is not arrogant, he is firm. He does not need to ask permission to be who he is. He does not beg for attention, he attracts it naturally. He does not break when criticized, because his worth does not depend on external voices, but on the conviction of his own character. And when a man achieves that strength, he not only regains respect from women, but conquers the most important thing, respect for himself. 2. Accept rejection calmly. Rejection is like a door that closes in front of you when you thought you were going to enter without a problem. At first, it hits your pride, it hurts, it's uncomfortable, but the reality is that not all doors are meant to open. Many men crumble at that slam, taking it as a sentence against their personal worth, and then sink into insecurity. That's where attraction dies, not in the rejection itself, but in how you react to it. Because a man who can't handle rejection shows emotional dependence, and that's one of the clearest signs of weakness. Most think that to avoid pain, they must flee from rejection, live pleasing and avoiding any situation that can hurt the ego. But that flight only reveals fear. A woman does not respect a man who trembles when he hears a no. She respects the one who assumes it calmly, moves on, and shows that his life does not stop because someone did not choose him. Rejection does not define who you are, it only shows you that that option was not for you. Stoicism teaches that what happens outside of you is not what matters. What matters is how you interpret and respond to it. If you take rejection as humiliation, you sink. If you take it as experience, you grow. That difference changes the way you are perceived and, above all, the way you perceive yourself. How to practice it in everyday life. First, train your mind by accepting small no's without dramatizing. It can be from someone disagreeing with you to having a job proposal rejected. Observe the emotion, acknowledge it, but do not rebel or turn it into a tragedy. The more you normalize these everyday no's, the stronger you will be when a bigger rejection comes. Second, change the internal narrative. Instead of asking yourself, "What did I do wrong?" start asking, "What did I learn here?" This change prevents your self-esteem from dissolving with each rejection and turns it into an opportunity to adjust your path without losing dignity. Third, keep your purpose in motion. When a man makes his course depend on a woman's approval, he gets stuck if he receives a rejection. But if your life already has a clear direction, if your goals do not revolve around pleasing, a no becomes just a detour, never an end. Therefore, never put your life on pause waiting for someone to change their mind. Fourth, practice detachment from the outcome. Before approaching a situation where there is a possibility of rejection, repeat to yourself, "It can go well or it can go wrong, but I remain the same." This reminder strengthens the mind and prepares you to receive any response with balance. Finally, watch your body language and your tone of voice. When you receive a rejection and your body shrinks, your shoulders fall, or your voice trembles, you reflect insecurity. But if you hold your calm, smile serenely, and withdraw with dignity, you send a powerful message. You are not a man who crumbles because someone did not choose him. You are a man who maintains his center regardless of the circumstance. Accepting rejection calmly does not mean not feeling, it means mastering what you feel. And when you achieve that, respect comes back to you because you show that your worth is not negotiated in the face of a no. A man who understands this truth does not fear to lose because he knows that he never loses the most important thing, his own respect, and that's how it should be. 3. Communicate clearly without justifying yourself. There are men who speak as if they were carrying a sack full of stones on their back. Each word sounds heavy, forced, full of detours so as not to upset anyone. They try so hard to embellish what they say that they end up losing the message. This need to justify every action is a burden that weakens because it communicates insecurity more than clarity. Women perceive it instantly. They do not hear firmness. They hear fear disguised as endless explanations. The problem is not in speaking, but in how one speaks. Justifying oneself is a form of apologizing for existing, as if your point of view needed permission to be valid. This habit creates the impression that you do not trust yourself, and nothing kills respect faster than a man who contradicts himself with excuses. Clear communication is a powerful weapon, while communication full of justifications is a slow poison that destroys personal authority. Stoicism teaches to express oneself from rationality, without unnecessary adornments, with the serenity of those who understand that the truth does not need to shout to be heard. The man who communicates firmly and without an excess of words inspires trust. He does not need to convince forcefully because his conviction is transmitted alone. How to practice it in everyday life? The first step is to learn to stop the anxiety of explaining too much. Before speaking, ask yourself if what you are going to say contributes or simply seeks to please. If you find that it is the latter, remain silent. Over time, you train your mind so that each word has weight and is not a filler to seek acceptance. The second step is to speak in direct sentences. Instead of, "The thing is that I thought that maybe it would be better if you had no objection," say, "I prefer to do it this way." The difference seems minimal, but the impact is total. The first reflects fear, the second shows certainty. The third step is to learn to listen. Many justify too much because they do not know how to be silent and wait for the other's approval to feel secure. But when you listen calmly, you think better about what you are going to say and eliminate the urgency to fill the silences with excuses. A well-used silence conveys more authority than a speech full of empty explanations. The fourth step is to take care of body language. Clarity is not only in words, but in posture, tone, and gaze. If you speak firmly, but avoid eye contact or your body shrinks, the message contradicts itself. The coherence between what you say and how you say it is what gives solidity. The fifth step is to accept that you will not always convince. You do not need to justify yourself for someone to agree with you. Clarity is maintained even when the other does not share your opinion. Learning to stand firm in your position without falling into the need to justify every detail is a sign of self-respect. When you eliminate constant justification and speak clearly, you stop sounding like someone begging for acceptance and start projecting leadership. The woman who listens to you notices the difference. You are not a man who gets tangled up to please. You are someone who stands from the security of his convictions. And that firmness, much more than sweet words or elaborate speeches, is what arouses respect and keeps attraction alive. 4. Keep the woman as your equal. The mistake many men make is to see the woman as a marble statue placed high on a pedestal. They admire her from below, surround her with flowers and compliments, and even kneel hoping to be noticed. This image seems romantic, but in reality, it is a trap. Because when you place someone above you, you inevitably place yourself below. And no man who minimizes himself can aspire to respect or true attraction. The pedestal mentality turns the woman into a judge and the man into the accused, turns every interaction into a test that he must pass, and condemns him to act with fear of failing. She didn't ask for it, but he himself gave her the power to decide his worth. The result is always the same. He loses leadership, loses respect, loses the spark that attracts. Because you can't inspire someone to admire you if you present yourself as someone inferior. Stoicism teaches to live in balance, neither above nor below, but on the same level, recognizing the dignity that everyone possesses. When you treat the woman as an equal, you not only respect her, you also respect yourself. And that parity creates a more authentic bond, free from power games and false idealizations. How to put it into practice in everyday life. The first step is to change the internal language. Stop thinking, "She is too much for me," or "I have to strive to be at her level." Those kind of phrases poison your mind. Start telling yourself, "I am also valuable. I also contribute." Not as a way to inflate the ego, but as a reminder that you are worth for what you are, not for how you are perceived. The second step is to practice coherence in actions. If you say you see her as your equal, show it in how you behave. Don't put your life on hold to fulfill each of her whims. Don't change your plans just to please. A healthy relationship is built when both adjust, not when one sacrifices everything to please the other. The third step is to express admiration without falling into worship. It's okay to acknowledge her beauty or intelligence, but don't turn every conversation into a sermon of praise. Compliment loses value when it becomes an addiction. Admire with balance, recognize with naturalness, but never lose the essence of who you are just to gain approval. The fourth step is to establish clear boundaries. Equality does not exist if one is afraid to say what he thinks. If something you don't like, say it calmly. If something bothers you, express it with respect. The woman does not respect the man who is silent for fear. She respects the one who stands firm without the need to raise his voice. The fifth step is to build your life beyond the relationship. When your world revolves exclusively around her, you inevitably place her on a pedestal. But if you have goals, passions, and your own projects, you show her that your life has direction, with or without her approval. That independence is the clearest proof that you see her as an equal, not as the absolute center of your existence. Keeping the woman as your equal does not mean devaluing her. It means giving her the same value you give yourself. It is an act of balance that transforms the dynamic, because there is no stronger attraction than that of two people who look at each other face to face, without chains of superiority or inferiority, sharing mutual respect. A man who learns this lesson not only strengthens his relationships, he also regains his personal leadership. 5. Face conflict with serenity. Conflict is like fire. It can consume everything in seconds, or it can forge the strongest steel. The difference is not in the fire itself, but in how you face it. Many men believe that avoiding conflict is the best way to protect the relationship, that to be silent, to give in, or to step aside is synonymous with peace. But all they achieve is to accumulate tension, lose authority, and show weakness. Because when you fear conflict, what you really convey is fear of losing, and that fear destroys more than any argument. Women do not respect the man who runs away from a problem, nor the one who explodes uncontrollably, because excessive anger is another face of the same insecurity. They respect the one who stands with serenity, the one who faces discomfort without trembling or disguising his stance. True strength is not to avoid the fire. It is to learn to walk through it without getting burned. Stoicism teaches that what hurts is not what happens, but how you decide to respond. The man who trains his mind knows that conflicts are not threats to his worth, but tests to demonstrate his temperance. Each argument is a field where he can show control, clarity, and firmness, and that mastery is what inspires respect. How to practice it in daily life? The first step is to change the perception. Do not see conflict as a monster coming to destroy you. See it as an opportunity to grow. If you always give in to avoid problems, you become an invisible man, and the invisible never attracts. Every time a disagreement arises, remember that facing it calmly strengthens your character. The second step is to control the tone. Serenity does not mean eternal silence, it means firmness without shouting. Speak clearly without beating around the bush, and keep your voice steady. A word spoken calmly is worth more than 1,000 spoken in anger. Your tone should reflect confidence, not desperation. The third step is to listen before responding. Many conflicts grow because the man reacts without understanding what the other person really meant. Listen carefully, wait, think, and then respond. That brief pause is the difference between demonstrating maturity or revealing insecurity. The fourth step is to set boundaries without threats. If something crosses the line of what you consider acceptable, express it clearly. There is no need to intimidate. It is enough to be firm. A man who sets boundaries shows that he respects himself, and that is one of the most powerful signs of leadership. The fifth step is to learn to withdraw when necessary. Facing conflict with serenity does not mean fighting every battle to the end. Sometimes the best demonstration of strength is to step aside, not because you are running away, but because you do not allow your energy to be wasted in meaningless arguments. Serenity is also shown in the ability to let go. The sixth step is to train your mind in everyday situations. Practice calmness when something small irritates you, like traffic or a mistake at work. If you can't master yourself in the simple things, you won't be able to do it in the big ones. Every occasion is a rehearsal to strengthen your temperance. When you face conflict with serenity, you stop being the man who hides or the one who explodes. You become someone who conveys confidence even in the midst of the storm. 6. Learn to say no without guilt. There are men who live as if they were an ATM, open 24 hours a day, always available, always saying yes, always sacrificing their time and energy to please others. At first, it seems noble, it seems generous, but over time it becomes a sentence, because he who does not know how to say no ends up being used, worn out, and without respect. A woman perceives this attitude as weakness disguised as kindness, and soon loses admiration for the one who does not have the courage to set limits. Saying no is not selfishness, it is self-respect. It is the clearest way to show that your life has direction, that you are not willing to betray your principles to please. A man who apologizes every time he tries to defend his space or who gives in for fear of discomfort becomes a prisoner of his need for approval, and what is perceived in practice is submission, not love. Stoicism teaches that true control lies in what you decide to accept and what you decide to reject. You have no power over what others want from you, but you do over what you are willing to give. When you understand that, saying no stops being a burden and becomes a declaration of freedom. How to put it into practice in everyday life. The first step is to eliminate the guilt associated with no. Remind yourself that every time you say no to something you don't want, you are actually saying yes to what really matters. This change of perspective transforms the act into a gesture of commitment to yourself. The second step is to practice firmness in small things. Say no to a plan that doesn't interest you, to a commitment that takes away more than it gives, to a favor that you know you can't fulfill without sacrificing your peace. Each no you pronounce clearly strengthens your character, and over time, it becomes natural. The third step is to take care of the tone in which you say no. You don't need endless excuses or detailed explanations. A clear phrase is enough. I can't. I'm not interested. I'd rather not do it. The more you embellish the refusal, the more space you give for others to try to manipulate you. The power of no lies in its simplicity. The fourth step is to understand that your time is limited. Every yes you give without thinking steals energy and space from your own projects. When you accept everything for fear of discomfort, you are actually saying no to yourself. Always ask yourself if what you accept brings you closer to what you want to build or takes you away from it. The fifth step is to observe who reacts badly to your no. A person who respects your refusal also respects your limits. Whoever gets offended or blames you for not pleasing them reveals that they were never interested in you, but in what you could give them. This filter is valuable because it frees you from relationships that drain your energy. Saying no without guilt is not rejecting the world. It is choosing your life. It's not closing doors, it's opening the right ones. It's an act of maturity that sends a powerful message. I'm not here to please everyone, I'm here to live with coherence. And when a man learns to do it, he not only gains respect from others, he gains something much more important: self-respect. A woman can admire many things, but none as attractive as a man who stands firm and does not break in the attempt. 7. Live with purpose and discipline. There are lives that seem like dry leaves blown by the wind, going from one place to another without a fixed direction, obeying every current that blows. That's how many men live, without a clear purpose, without a defined direction, letting themselves be carried away by momentary desires and the need to please. This lack of structure not only extinguishes attraction, it also erodes respect, because there is nothing weaker in the eyes of a woman than someone who does not know where he is going or what he wants to build. Discipline and purpose are not luxuries for a few. They are the foundation on which a solid man is built. Whoever lives only on impulses and emotions becomes a slave to his environment, but whoever lives with purpose becomes master of himself. And here is the detail that many forget. Real attraction does not come from gifts, flattery, or desperate efforts to please. It comes from firmness of character, clarity in objectives, and consistency in actions. Stoicism teaches us to live each day as if it were a step towards personal greatness. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that we should not waste time on unnecessary discussions, but focus on doing what nature has given us as duty. That duty in modern life translates into building with discipline what gives meaning to your existence. How to practice it in everyday life? The first step is to clearly define what you want. I'm not talking about vague dreams, but about concrete objectives that you can translate into actions. A woman can respect someone with goals, but she will never admire someone who only talks about them and does nothing. Write down what you seek to achieve, set priorities, and arrange them so that your energy is invested in the essential. The second step is to organize your time. Without discipline, even the greatest purpose remains a fantasy. Set schedules, create routines that bring you closer to your goals, and stick to them even if you don't feel like it. A man's strength is measured in what he is capable of doing when no one is watching and when motivation does not appear. The third step is to practice self-control. Don't fall into the game of distractions that seem harmless, because it is these small energy leaks that build weakness. Learn to say no to yourself, to give up what takes you away from your path, to prioritize what builds instead of what entertains. This internal coherence is projected outward and is perceived as security. The fourth step is to maintain consistency even when results are delayed. Many men give up at the first obstacle and look for easy shortcuts. But every time you abandon what you started, you send a message to your mind: you can't trust yourself. Discipline, on the other hand, reaffirms your internal confidence and strengthens your self-respect. The fifth step is to live with your eyes set on the legacy, not on immediate gratification. Ask yourself what mark you want to leave and act accordingly. This vision transforms your decisions and eliminates the need for external approval. You no longer live to please, you live to build. Living with purpose and discipline makes you a firm, reliable, and hard-to-break person. The woman who observes you will not see someone lost looking for direction in her. She will see someone who is already walking with his own direction and who can invite her to share that path. And that is the difference between being seen as weak or being respected as a leader. 8. Make independence your hallmark. The heaviest chains are not always visible. Often they are invisible, made of necessity and dependence. There are men who walk with these chains tied around their neck, convinced that without the presence, attention, or approval of a woman, they are worthless. They believe that love means giving everything, even their freedom, and they do not understand that what they project is weakness. Dependence does not attract, it suffocates, and it ends up becoming the reason for losing respect and admiration. Independence does not mean coldness or lack of affection. It means having a life of your own that does not crumble if someone leaves. It is to stand firm with a solid core that does not change according to the mood of others. A woman does not seek to be the owner of your life. She seeks someone who can walk by her side without getting lost along the way. When your existence depends on her, you put her in a position of power she did not ask for, and all you achieve is breaking the balance. Stoicism teaches that the only thing you truly own is your mind and your actions. Everything else, even the people you love, belongs to a terrain you do not control. When you accept this truth, you stop living in fear of loss and start living with inner strength. This independence makes you more attractive because the security you project does not depend on external conditions. How to train this practice in everyday life? The first step is to build your life beyond the relationship. Dedicate time to your passions, your work, your personal development. If your whole world revolves around the woman who is with you, she inevitably becomes the center of your identity. When you have your own projects, you show that your life has direction, even if no one accompanies you. The second step is to take care of your social circle. A dependent man often abandons friends, family, and activities to always be available for her. Reclaim those spaces. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and strengthen your character. An independent life is built in community, not in confinement. The third step is to strengthen your economy and your financial discipline. It's not about being rich. It's about not depending on anyone to cover your basic needs. When a man stands on his own, he conveys solidity, and that security does not need to be explained. It is noticeable in every decision. The fourth step is to train the mind in detachment. Remember every day that nobody belongs to you and that you do not belong to anyone. Love is enjoyed with freedom, not with chains. Practice gratitude for what you have, but without fear of losing it, because fear is what feeds dependence. The fifth step is to learn to enjoy solitude. If you cannot be with yourself, you will always end up seeking company out of desperation, not by choice. Dedicate moments to introspection, to silence, to getting to know yourself. Independence begins when you are able to be at peace without needing external distractions. Making independence your hallmark does not mean living in isolation. It means loving without losing yourself, sharing without depending, accompanying without stopping walking your own path. This attitude awakens respect because it shows strength and awakens attraction because it conveys freedom. An independent man does not beg to stay in someone's life. He chooses to be there, and that voluntary choice is what makes his presence much more valued. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.